Hi everyone, this is Mr. Neil Wright here, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for tuning into my latest video. So the patient who attended with bilateral, fully occluding, dry earwax and dead skin, so keratin. The patient also has bilateral otitis externa. So when we say bilateral, we mean both ears. And if we say unilateral, we mean one ear. And otitis externa is an umbrella name given for an outer ear infection or inflammation. And in this case, the patient suffers from chronic otitis externa. They're normally under the care of ENT on the National Health Service, and they have their ears regularly de-waxed. However, due to the pandemic, there's huge waiting lists, and I think their appointments have been rearranged over the course of the last year, so they decided to come and see me privately. The last time they saw me was around 6 months ago, and the patient actually had quite a nasty ear infection in the right ear. It was otomycosis, which is sort of fungal ear infection, and they had quite a swollen ear canal. There's a lot of edema, so swelling there. And however, since I saw the patient in February, other than the dry skin they've got, so the bit of eczema, which can be categorised as otitis externa, it comes under that umbrella term. They feel their ears are a lot better, and it's just removing this buildup of dead skin and wax that they require. And so they were put at ease after their last appointment and the treatment they received. So we're just in the left ear, just using microsuction, and we removed the outer, more lateral wax and dead skin. This wax and dead skin that you're seeing now, it's more medial. It's past the second bend, so the ear canal has two bends. The first bend is around 0.5 centimetre into the ear canal, and the second bend is another about 1 centimetre into the ear canal. And the second bend is where the bony part of the ear canal, so the inner 2/3, meets the cartilaginous portion of the ear canal, so the outer third. So we're around, we know we're more than a centimetre and a half into the ear canal, because the average length of an ear canal is about 2.6 centimetres. Because the wax was quite lodged, I just instilled some olive oil spray for earwax, which just helped lubricate the wax. You can see it's just enabled me to get a good suction grip, and I'm gently just wriggling this wax more laterally out of the ear canal. So it's still got quite a lot of impacted wax, a bit of keratin at the top, so I'm just trying to peel that off. You can see here this is all dead skin, and this skin acts as double-sided sticky tape. The underneath layer attaches itself to the plug of wax, and the outer layer attaches itself to the ear canal wall. So we're probably almost 1.5 up to 2 centimetres into the ear canal now, so we're very close to the eardrum, about 0.5 centimetre away. Just managed to get a suction grip and gently just bringing this wax forwards out of the ear canal. It's just got lodged near the entrance. The plug of wax is a bit larger than the entrance of the ear canal, or should I say the first bend of the ear canal, but managed to wriggle that through. Ear canal's completely clear, just a bit of dead skin superiorly. This is on the cartilaginous portion of the ear canal, so when we're on the cartilaginous portion, the outer third, we can apply some pressure to the ear canal. It's not as sensitive as the inner 2/3 of the ear canal, so the inner 2/3, the bony portion, is very sensitive. If we come in contact with that, it can be very uncomfortable for the patient. So just using a fine end gauge. Fine end I find is quite good with dead skin. And you'll see that in the left ear. In the left ear there's a lot more dead skin that I peeled. And we used a fine end and other instruments to good effect. So we use instruments in combination quite often. And you'll see this patient has got a longer than average ear canal. So when I go in, the ear canal is quite long. The eardrum is quite far away, so I had to insert the endoscope in. But lovely view of the eardrum. It looks slightly dull, slightly retracted, so the eardrum looks slightly sucked in, possibly due to eustachian tube dysfunction. Now, this is the patient's right ear. The otitis externa, so this eczema that he has, it's more visible and apparent in the right ear. So I've just started off with microsuction, but this outer layer of wax, the more lateral, is quite hard and dry. There's a lot of keratin attached, so I wasn't getting a suction grip. There's a lot of skin adhesion, so I then used a St. Bart's ear hook. So during the course of both ears, I actually used, I believe, all instrumentation. So we've used microsuction, used a fine end gauge, using an ear hook now, and I'm also going to use forceps and a Jobson horn. So I managed to prise this dry piece of skin keratin out of the ear. Had to use my fingers to take it off the concha bowl. So the concha bowl is, if you look at your external ear, what we call the pinna, which looks like a satellite dish, you've got a bowl at the bottom. We call that the concha. So just going back in with an ear hook, just prising another large piece of dried skin and wax out of the ear. Again, I think I'm going to pinch it to get it out. So I'm using a fine end gauge here. There's some dead keratin at the bottom. Just trying to lift this up, but it was quite crusty, so it wasn't going anywhere with the fine end gauge, this part of the skin anyway. So I think I use a combination of a Jobson horn and forceps, which you'll see in a moment. So just playing a bit of tug of war with it. So you do have to be careful with dead skin because it can clarinet. Clarinetting is when the skin violently flaps at the tip of the suction probe and it emits a very high frequency squeal, which is almost deafening, not only for the patient but for myself. So it's some medial wax there. Just managed to insert the Zollner suction probe over the dead skin just to extract this more medial wax and dead skin. So just using some forceps now, crocodile forceps, just going to peel this. And sometimes a Jobson horn is really good as well because you can apply a bit of pressure on the cartilaginous portion, and as you glide the Jobson horn forwards, it peels the skin in one whole sheet. I think it did inferiorly, so at the base of the ear canal, so you can see a large piece of dead skin there. But I think this more anterior dead skin, so anterior means to the front part of the ear canal, so in the case of the right ear, it's on the right hand side. So what I'm using here now, so I'm just actually using the Jobson horn to separate, elevate, retract this dead skin off the canal wall, just nice and gently. And I think I'm going to use forceps. I'm going to use fine end. I'm going to use some forceps again, I'm sure. And a fine end is really, really good at kind of peeling wax off the canal wall because it's more narrow than a Zollner suction probe. We get more precision. And a fine end, you're much less likely to get clarinetting with a standard Zollner suction probe. Clarinetting, so that violent flapping of dead skin, is quite common with a standard Zollner suction probe, but with a fine end, it's quite often not present. So as you can see, this dead skin extends all the way to the eardrum now. Under normal circumstances, would you do what I'm doing? No, I wouldn't always do this procedure. It's just as this patient has got does suffer from chronic ear infection. This dead skin, if it doesn't come out of the ear on its own accord, it can potentially get infected, cause the patient problems. Because the patient does suffer from frequent ear infections, I decided to remove as much as possible. Now, we can never remove all the dead skin. As I said, the inner 2/3 of the ear canal is very sensitive. We do have to be careful. So I'm just trying to remove as much as I can without causing any discomfort to the patient. So I've just orientated the forceps more vertically here. So I can slide in on the anterior canal wall. So going back in with a fine end. You can see it's almost like peeling some wallpaper off the wall, but in this case it's very dead skin. Now this skin is, the outer part of the skin here is a lot thicker. It's about 1 millimeter in thickness, and the inner 2/3 of the skin is a lot thinner. It's more delicate. It's 10 to 15 times thinner, so 0.1 millimeters almost in thickness. So yeah, this is the really thin layer. And on the inner 2/3, the skin directly sits on bone, so it's very, very delicate part of the ear. So when we train our Clearwax delegates, always make reference to that game, Operation, where we just want to avoid, especially the inner 2/3, just trying to avoid making contact wherever possible. And as I'm peeling, I'm lifting this upwards. So we're approaching the isthmus, so about 0.5 centimetre away from the eardrum, we have a natural narrowing of the ear canal called the isthmus, and then the ear canal protrudes back outwards again. So this is the isthmus region. You can see the ear canal narrows, and beyond this point it widens again, and it creates recesses. It creates a recess anteriorly, so to the right hand side of the ear canal. We call that the anterior recess, and quite often wax can get lodged there. And it also creates an inferior recess, so it's almost like a trench, and that's at the base of the eardrum ear canal. So just on the posterior canal wall, so the back part of the ear canal, but we're quite more lateral, so we're more near the entrance now. I'm just peeling as much as I can. I think I'm going to use... So the skin here is a lot thicker near the entrance, so sometimes suction's quite difficult, and you have to put a bit more force, and the Jobson horn's quite good. So this bit here, this dead skin, is a lot thicker than the skin that was previously peeling. So if you remember, the skin on the outer part of the ear canal, the outer cartilaginous portion, is about 1 millimetre in thickness, whereas the skin lining the inner 2/3 of the ear canal on the bony part is around 0.1 millimetres. It's a lot thinner. So just some more thicker dead skin on the cartilaginous portion, just using a Jobson horn, just to gently scoop this. And as I said, it comes off in big bits quite often. So with otitis externa, the patient uses acetic acid spray, so over the counter. I think actually the patient's got a prescribed version of that. And it's very important with people, especially with people with otitis externa, to avoid water entering the ear, but you need to avoid water entering the ear nonetheless, even if you've got a healthy ear. So this eardrum's not as retracted, it's got a good light reflex there, and that's all the contents of the earwax on the tissue. You can see the different colours, so the darker the wax and dead skin, the longer it's been there. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care and speak to you soon.